Tua Tagovailoa was benched again for Ryan Fitzpatrick after Tua was 17 of 22 for only 94 yards through 3+ quarters of play against the Raiders. Fitzpatrick didn't disappoint, going 9-14 for 182 yards, a touchdown, and setting up Miami for the game-winning field goal in the closing seconds. Brian Flores said despite the benching that Tua will get the start next week. For the Dolphins, so Shannon, I ask you, is it the right move to go back to Tua next week?
No, but Skip, I didn't say it. Skip, you know where I've been on this all along. I never thought they should have went to Tua to begin with. I thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing too well for them to bench him. And he had done his play didn't warrant him getting benched.
By the way, he was devastated when he got benched.
And rightfully so.
Publicly devastated.
And rightfully so, Skip. I just think the thing is what Tua is struggling with, Skip. And a lot of young quarterbacks struggle with this. What's open in college as opposed to what's open in the NFL. You see, Skip, he had Smith, who probably might win the Heisman.
He might.
Ruggs was the first receiver drafted last year. Judy was in the first round. Jalen Waddle. So those were the guys that he was throwing to. Skip, they're open by 4 and 5 yards on every single play. That's not the NFL unless it's a blown assignment. In the NFL, you throw guys open. Fitzpatrick understands that. He understands that step. Oh, he opened that. Oh, that's a big old window right there.
Yep.
And Tua doesn't trust himself enough right now, Skip. He's waiting for guys to get wide open, and what that allows is for the defensive line to get closer to you. And then when you do throw it, the DBs have recovered. So I think that's the problem. But it seems to me that Brian Flores is hell-bent. Like, ain't no quarterback controversy. Tua's starting next week. Okay, what do you want me next question? Yeah, Skip me what? No, well, I don't know. We have to see. I got to look at the tape because, you know, I got to look at the tape and see. I go, Tua's starting next week.
You're playing at Buffalo.
At Buffalo.
With a shot at making the playoffs.
The playoffs.
And if you're a veteran in that locker room, you are thinking, what, coach?
Skip, and I said this from the beginning, I'm a veteran on the team. I'm like, what the hell we going to Tua? Did you see the guy? Skip, he beat San Francisco. Yeah, I mean, blew the doors when San Francisco was really good.
He did.
So, no, I wouldn't have made this move to begin with, but I think Tua understands that, man, I just can't do the things right now that Fitz can do, and I think it's okay. But I think in the future, Skip, they're going to have to move on from Fitz because Tua will always look over his shoulder as long as Fitz is on that sideline knowing that they could possibly go to him.
They say those two get along famously, like big brother, little brother. They do. But at some point, I think that'll get a little tense between those two.
Yes.
Okay. I have never bought into Tua the way you have. I do think he was somewhat overrated as a product of those receivers you talk about in that NFL pipeline of an offensive line that he got to stand behind, and those NFL running backs he got to flip it to or hand it to.
Yeah.
And he was shaky the other night, and I admired Brian Flores. He's playing a dangerous game, but I admired him because he needed to go to Fitz magic at that point because there's 9:47 left, and they're down 16-13. And right on schedule, Fitz did what Fitz always does. He made magic. And
how the hell he complete that pass?
I don't know. That's the play of the year. But again, his face mask, we see it, is getting yanked sideways, and he throws it up to a kid, Mac Hollins, who had dropped a touchdown pass earlier in the game.
Yes.
And by the way, he had enough humility to admit after the game that it actually helped to get his face mask yanked sideways because it took something off the pass.
Right.
And it dropped in. If he had
thrown it out of bounds.
Well, he might have led him right into the safety. The safety might have gotten more involved in the play. This way he dropped a punt right to him. And why did the corners not sink? I have no idea.
Because there's nobody to threaten the flat. So you just keep getting
just sink with him because there's nobody home. There's nobody out there. It's got to be your play.
Yes.
You're the one who has to stop.
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep sinking.
Now, I did not blame John Gruden for 1 second for telling Josh Jacobs to fall at the 1 yard line because he did exactly like he said after the game. I don't regret it at all because he said, I didn't want to give Fitzpatrick the ball in a 4-down situation. He's a gunslinger, and he was hot. I agree. Put his back against the wall.
Skip.
With 19 seconds left, and you're up 2.
Skip.
You took the field goal.
Skip, you gave him a 4-down situation anyway.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did. He was going to go for it on fourth down. They was going to be fourth down all the way.
Okay,
now, whether or not he had enough time to get on fourth down. Right.
Gruden killed all their timeouts. So if you back me up to my 25-yard line with 19 seconds left, you should close that deal.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you think would be harder? And the way guys kicking field goals these days, a field goal, getting a field goal, or getting a touchdown?
Well, you'd give them a lot more time with the touchdown, obviously, right?
Well,
that's how much respect or how much fear John Gruden has of Fitzmagic.
Well, how about this?
And he's been getting torched by him up to this point.
Well, how about this? Slide down on second down and then run the ball in the end zone on third down. Because you took that knee awful quick. Or just have what you call him to take some time off, you know, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Hey, just don't take the knee so quick. Just, you know, mill around a little bit, mill around, and then take a knee.
But I still thought it was way over. I didn't think even Fitzmagic could do that.
Well, keep on listening to analytics. Analytics gonna have you without well, he's safe because he still got 70 million left, Skip, so he ain't going nowhere.
Okay. All I know is when Brian Flores dug in after the game and said, no, Fitz will start at Buffalo, I thought he's threatening to lose that locker room.
You think when he said Tua was going to start?
I said Tua.
Yeah.
Tua would start. My God, really? 94 yards passing through three quarters. What do you think you're going to do up against that defense up in Buffalo?
And what you call him threw for 182 in the fourth quarter. So if I project 182, Jenny, in the fourth quarter, that's 2 quarters, that's 4, that's 6, that's 364. If I do that over the course of a game,
he's the GOAT.
That's 728 yards.
No.
That'd have been 728 yards in a game. That would have blown Norm Van Brocklyn's record out the water.
Talk about couple goats here. Skip loves, you know, Brady. Shannon loves LeBron. But the two of them keep giving each other high praise over social media. You won't want to miss what they had to say next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Well, Baker Mayfield found himself without any of his starting receivers after all of them were deemed high-risk, close contacts to linebacker B.J. Goodson, who tested positive for COVID-19. Cleveland jumped out early, but then the Jets went on a 20-0 run and held on to win 23-16. Baker finished with 285 yards on 53 pass attempts, no touchdowns, and 2 lost fumbles. Baker did take the bulk of the blame after the game. Take a listen.
There's no excuse. Plain and simple, I failed this team. I put 3 balls on the ground. 2 of them that, you know, they recovered, and then the other that on the fourth down obviously needed to just hold on to the damn ball. So plain and simple, I have to hold on to the damn ball. I failed this team. We had exactly what we needed to win this game, and I didn't do good enough, and that's it.
Well, Shannon, in your opinion, what % of the blame does Baker deserve?
Skip, I'm going to give him 45%. I'm also going to give Stefanski 53%. And the rest of the percent I'm going to give the defense because you got to be able to hold it down. But, Skip, this is what I don't understand. You got Nick Chubb, who finished second in the league in rushing last year, went to the Pro Bowl. Nick Chubb missed 4 games, and the voters and the coaches and the fans thought enough of him to vote him back into the Pro Bowl this year. You got Kareem Hunt. So you got 2 guys that's been to the Pro Bowl. I think Kareem Hunt was Rookie of the Offensive Player, Rookie of the Year. And for some reason, down your top 4 receivers, Baker, we want you to throw the ball 53 times. What sense does that make? Skip, Baker's career, he's 1 for 9 when he's asked to throw the ball 40 or more times. Now, what has happened is Stefanski and a lot of other people have been reading Pro Football Focus. Since week 8, Baker Mayfield is the second greatest graded quarterback in the NFL. And they said, okay, Baker, you can do it. No, you can't. You are a play-action team. If you ask Baker Mayfield to just drop back and throw the football, that is a recipe for a terrible dish. And you got exactly what you deserve, Stefanski. Run the football. And Skip, look, I think sometimes people get caught up, well, Shannon, they wouldn't get any yards. Sometimes it's not about yards. It's the threat. So now it's like, oh, y'all ain't going to even try to run the ball. Okay, we're just going to play coverage. And Baker putting the ball on the ground. Skip, what is that? So, yeah, Baker, you get a lot of the credit, but I thought Stefanski called a terrible game by putting him in that situation for him to put the ball on the dirt. You can't do that, Skip. Run Chubb, run Hunt, play action. When he had his great game, what did they do in Tennessee, Skip? They play action. When he play action, he's as good as we have in the league at play action pass. Just dropping back to throw it, He's not there yet. And you ask him, you put him in a situation in which he could not succeed. So, yes, Baker's at fault for putting the ball in the dirt. No, he did not play well yesterday. Minus his 4 top receivers. And you say, you know what? It'll be a good time for us to throw the football. Minus our 4 top guys. Run the football.
Okay, so to answer the question, I will give, because Baker Mayfield is the quarterback, I'm going to give him 50% of the blame because the quarterback